The story of Prometheus, the fire-bringer. At the very beginning of time, the world was still young. Mountains were just taking shape, seas were awakening, and the sky was slowly painting itself blue. Up above, far beyond the clouds, the gods lived on the peak of Mount Olympus, glorious, immortal, and all-powerful. At the top of them all was Zeus, king of the gods, who held thunder in his hands and ruled all creation. It was he who made the laws, who guarded the balance of the universe. But down below, on earth, human beings were helpless. They were new, fragile, and frightened. They didn't know how to farm, write, or build. They lived in caves, shivering in the cold, hiding from the rain, fearing the dark. When night fell, they couldn't see one another. They were vulnerable, but inside them burned a tiny spark of hope. And that hope reached the heart of someone watching from above. His name was Prometheus. He was a titan, one of the ancient beings who existed even before the gods. But unlike most titans, Prometheus was not proud or cruel. He was kind. And more than anything, he loved humankind. Because it was he who had shaped humans, molding them from clay and water. He had given them form, and he couldn't bear to see his creation suffer. One day, as the gods celebrated on Olympus, drinking wine and playing music, Prometheus approached Zeus. "Great Zeus," he said, "humans live in darkness. Let us give them fire, to warm themselves, to cook, to light their way." Zeus narrowed his eyes. "No," he replied coldly. "If they have fire, they'll grow too strong. They'll no longer need us. Fire is a divine secret. It belongs only to the gods." Prometheus was silent. He bowed his head and stepped away. But inside, his heart ached. That night, while the heavens slept and the stars kept their silent watch, Prometheus crept quietly to the gods' sacred hearth. There, flames danced, golden, eternal, pure. The fire of Olympus. He took a hollow reed, a dry stalk of fennel, and held it in the flame. A spark caught inside. He covered it gently, carefully. Then he descended from Olympus, his cloak fluttering in the cold air, down toward the world of humans. He crossed rivers, climbed stones, walked through forest and wind. Finally, he reached the people. At first, they were afraid. They had never seen fire before, a thing that glowed, that moved, that breathed like a living being. But Prometheus smiled. He placed the spark on a rock and stepped back. The fire came to life. It grew, glowed, warmed the air. Humans reached out, amazed. Their frozen fingers thawed. One person placed meat on the flame, and it cooked. The smell filled the air. People began to gather, speak, share, create. They weren't just surviving anymore, they were living. But no miracle goes unnoticed by the gods. Zeus looked down the next morning and saw smoke rising from the forests. He saw fires burning in the valleys. Humans were awake, building, changing. His anger shook the skies. Thunder cracked the air. "Who did this?" he roared. "Who dared disobey my will?" Prometheus stood tall. "I did," he said. "Because they deserve more than darkness." Zeus's fury was terrible. "Then you shall suffer their pain," he declared. "If you are immortal, then your punishment shall be eternal." Zeus ordered that Prometheus be taken to the far, silent peaks of the Caucasus Mountains, a place so high and desolate that no mortal could reach it. There, he was chained to a sharp rock. Cold winds howled around him. The chains were forged by Hephaestus himself, unbreakable. But worse was yet to come. Each day, a giant eagle, fierce, with wings as wide as the sky, descended. It tore open Prometheus's chest and devoured his liver. And because he was immortal, his liver grew back each night, only to be eaten again the next day. This agony repeated day after day, year after year. But Prometheus never screamed. He never begged. In his heart, he whispered, it was worth it. Humans grew. They farmed, built, painted, learned. Fire spread through their cities and homes. But Prometheus remained chained. Until one day, far in the future, a hero appeared, Heracles, son of Zeus, the strongest of mortals. He had heard the tale of Prometheus. Climbing the freezing peaks, he faced the eagle and shot it down with a single arrow. Then he broke the chains, one by one, and set Prometheus free. Zeus, though still proud, allowed it. For Heracles was fated to be a great hero. Prometheus was free at last. But the fire he gave to humanity, that gift of light, knowledge, and freedom, never died. To this day, whenever people gather around a fire, whenever they learn, create, or speak truth to power, they carry a spark of Prometheus within them. He was not just a bringer of fire. He was the one who gave us the power to become more than what we were. The first rebel. The first teacher. The first light.